Welcome to the hottest show on IGTV. It's the Mo Today series on Black Muslim businesses. Welcome, welcome. Come on in the room. I'm so excited today to be talking to somebody about a non-alcoholic wine, Magnolia Crescent. They are on Magnolia Crescent. I see y'all. I'm going to give it a few minutes and let people come on in. It's only 11:59. So we'll give them about 2-3 minutes, let them get into the room. But I'm excited for this conversation. Make sure that you like and comment on the page just to help us with our interactions and get you guys engaged in what's going on. We're going to have this conversation today. If you've been missing this series, you can always go to my YouTube page. Make sure you like and subscribe my YouTube page. It's the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube page, and there's past episodes of my series on the Black Muslim businesses and the other shows. Those episodes are there as well. And then make sure you join us tomorrow night. I have a manifestation series that I do every week on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. This is all about recalibrating and hacking our minds so that we can gear towards manifestation and learn how to make things happen. It's time for us to take our things that go from an idea to material. Some of us just are a flight of ideas. We have ideas, they just sit there, but we can't figure out how to materialize. I've been blessed to be in a position where I have been able to materialize quite a few of my ideas. And so when you see me, know that there's so many other ideas that I have that are in the pipeline, that are in the process of materialization. And what I share with you on Thursday nights is how I do it, the mindset, the mentality, the thinking process. And so tomorrow night we're going to be talking about two things: the law of cause and effect, and we're also going to talk about how to calibrate yourself so that you understand the law of visualization. That's tomorrow night on the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Central Time. And if you want to catch up, we're on part 7. It's based on the book, The Master Key System. If we're on part 7, so if you want to catch up, you can binge on those shows. Make sure you like and subscribe to that page as well. And before I bring my family on here with Magnolia Crescent, I wanted to remind you all, support independent preservation of real estate. That is important to underserved communities like ours. Support the renovation and restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You can click the link in the bio to make a donation. Click the link in the bio to buy one of our commemorative pendants. Click the link in the bio to buy one of our graded coins. We definitely need your support. We are working to do this independently because the idea is for us to own and monetize our own story. So with that, family, I'm going to bring my family in. Magnolia accepted them, and they should be joining us here in a few minutes. I'm excited. I hope y'all as excited as I am. There they are. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sister Sajdah.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
We coordinate.
We coordinated, okay. Why y'all didn't give me the memo? I'd have wore some burgundy too.
Man, I don't know. I thought there was a vibe that we were.
You thought it was
building.
like right here? Okay.
Yeah. It be like that sometimes. You be off just a little bit, but that's all right. We're going to fall back in line.
That's all right. That's all right because we like-minded. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
And you still look amazingly beautiful, so
Always.
don't you worry about it.
Thank you for joining the show. This show has become the love of my life, just highlighting Black Muslims in business, highlighting you all so that we can support one another as we do for self. And you know, the idea is to really create this ecosystem. Because one of the things I learned with renovating the messenger's home is that the original people who built the home, they were part of an ecosystem.
Yes.
And they met in that house on a weekly basis, different businesses in the area. So if Magnolia came and said, hey, y'all, we got a challenge, you bring the whole team in And the whole team converges on that problem, gets you to your next level, and then you give back, and then we help the next person. That's the goal of the Black Muslim Business Directory.
Man,
Beautiful.
That's a wonderful goal. And I love the fact that you use the word ecosystem, because my wife, she has another podcast that she does called BBI Talks, and BBI is short for Black Business Influencer. And it's about creating a Black business ecosystem. And so we are, again, we right there, sis. We right there.
I'm so excited. So look, introduce yourselves to the audience, and I cannot wait to dive into this conversation about your non-alcoholic wine. I got some stories for you on that one. But go ahead, introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, well, I'm Karima.
And I'm Brother Anthony D.
And our company is Magnolia Crescent Orchards and Non-Alcoholic Winery. We offer 100% non-alcoholic wines, sparkling teas, and spirit alternatives. And we believe that we are indeed sober sophistication, and we look forward to sharing that with others.
Somebody put that in the chat, sober sophistication.
Yes.
Be sober sophistication. I love that.
You got to say it with your pinky finger up like this, Sister Sajdah.
Y'all know I'm bougie. I ain't got no problem. What else I got to do? I've been bougie since I was a little girl.
man.
Sober sophistication around here. You said first of all, you said Magnolia Orchards. I want to unpack all that. Magnolia Orchards. Then you said non-alcoholic
winery.
So, then you said sparkling teas.
Yes.
All right. So now we got to break this down. Let's start with the orchard. What is that?
Okay, so we're going to give you a quick overview. So one day, this is our story.
Okay.
It was a Sunday afternoon. I'm sitting at home. I'm binging on Netflix. I'm trying to relax. This Black woman here was like, come on, let's go. I'm like, go where? She was like, well, let's go to a winery in the North Georgia mountains. Now, we're here in Atlanta. North Georgia mountains, to me, I'm already factoring in time and distance. That's a 2-hour trip one way on a Sunday when I had it in my heart. I ain't want to do nothing. So the Black woman that she is, she appealed to me in a very loving way. But, you know, I'm doing the driving. So all this let's us, you know, this inclusive language, no, let me drive. So
she appealed to you in a soberly sophisticated way.
She sure did. And so I'm grunting. I'm gritting my teeth the entire time. I don't want to go. But I tell you, once we get to the end of that 2-hour drive and we got to this winery called Kaya, it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
The mountains, the vineyards.
I love wine country. It's just beautiful.
It was. And we went and we were greeted by this the owner, this Caucasian gentleman named Bill. He greeted us right when we were walking on the property with a handshake. And he was like, look, I would love to take you on a tour, but go to our patio and just kind of have some refreshments and relax. I'll come and get you. Sure. So it's my wife and I and our 2 children. So we go to the patio area and I'm trying to find something for them to drink. And so you go, they have a little kiosk or a little window that you can step up and order stuff. And because it's a wine, of course, they have alcoholic beverages.
Sure. And
one thing that caught my attention, they had some fruit slushies. So I was like, well, let me grab 4 fruit slushies for all of us. I go back to where everybody was seated and I took a sip because I'm usually when we go out to dinner, by the time the waiter or waitress comes out, I didn't already drink whatever I had 3 times before the dinner comes out. So I'm always first on the drink. I put that slushie in my mouth and it had alcohol in it. So I'm like, hold on, stop right there. I had to gather everything, take it back and exchange it for soda. We went on and had a wonderful time. The owner took us on these ATVs and we went all through the vineyards and he was showing us how they protect the grapes with these nettings to keep the birds away. Wonderful time. We on our way back, we were like, it was such a wonderful experience. The only downside was that it was alcohol there. And so that got her mind got to working on envisioning what we could create of a similar experience minus the alcohol. So that was the start of the journey. And this is before we even acquired our land. We live in Chattahoochee Hills, Georgia, which is about 20 minutes away from the city of Atlanta. We're right around the corner from Brother Patrick Muhammad of Your Faith Farms.
Mhm.
And so we Allah blessed us to acquire 2.3 acres of land. And we've
Mm.
had Brother Patrick and another mentor. His name is Rashid Nouri. He actually used to be the manager for Muhammad Farms in 1975 when there was farmland not only here in Georgia, but also in Alabama. And
Okay.
he's become like the godfather, if you will, of urban agriculture here in the city of Atlanta. He came out and visited our property. And as he walked, he said, you know, this land would be good if you all have an orchard, because that becomes, we talk about multi-generational wealth. Well, if you have a fruit orchard, you have multi-generational food, because once those trees grow and blossom, they're producing fruit every year.
Yeah.
And so, look, you know me, Sister Sajdah, from the west side of Chicago.
I know.
I ain't used a lawnmower till I moved down here. So the idea of planting trees and fruit
You know,
shrubs,
that's why I'm laughing, because I said, look at the brother from the west side with an orchard.
man, look, sister, I'm out there. And my wife, she said at one time that I had planted, although I have some help starting the process, but we ended up planting over 88 fruit trees and fruit shrubs.
Look,
And I'm like, come on now, I know you, my wife, you love me, but you laying it on real thick, right? She was like, no, you literally did that. I'm like, 88? And I mean, I'm out there using stuff that I had never known. So together we planted, we got blackberries, golden raspberries, blueberries. We got pears, apples, peaches, plums,
when can I come
figs.
visit? That's all I want to know.
You can come visit whenever you want, Sister Sajdah. It's open to you.
We go, listen, you know you my brother. When can I visit?
It's open
Anytime.
to you. Anytime. And
So we
so,
got the orchard,
yes.
and this is what I love about the Black woman, because we see the brother, he on the couch, he looking at Netflix.
Mind my business.
And she, in her majestic, godlike way, pushes you
Yes.
to go to a vineyard and then converts an opportunity into something that is now generational wealth for you and your family.
Absolutely.
Sis, I don't know what to tell you. I'm admiring that. And I love that about you as a sister, because what you're doing is you're showing the world what we are taught as Black women and as gods and as followers of this great teachings that we're a part of.
Yeah.
How we roll, and you're stylish, you got it going on, and you're doing something that is so cutting edge, non-alcoholic wine. I love the vineyards. I just think it's so beautiful. I love those tours and stuff that they give. For one, even if you're a drinker, you can't even really enjoy it because it's too much alcohol.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just too much. So I think the fact that you are recreating this experience, and I want to hear about the non-alcoholic wine, because I'm trying to figure out where they do that at and how they do that. And these sparkling teas. So let's talk about this non-alcoholic wine.
Go ahead.
Okay, so all of our 100% non-alcoholic wines are imports. So we have wineries that typically produce alcohol-based wines. They're popular wines that many people drink, but they have since moved into the non-alcoholic realm. And so our wines are from places like France, from Italy, from Spain, from Norway. Matter of fact, that's where our sparkling teas are from.
Okay.
And many of our sparkling teas, actually both of them, are offered at Michelin awarded restaurants overseas. So we only import the best quality non-alcoholic wines. What a lot of people don't know, Sister Sajdah, is that a lot of the non-alcoholic wines that they may find at their local package stores have between 0.5 and 0.9% alcohol, even though they can still call it non-alcoholic.
Because it's below the threshold.
Absolutely, absolutely. But when you're importing from overseas at the wineries that we've selected, they are 100% non-alcoholic. So the process that many of them go through are patented processing that only happens overseas. And so that gives us a wonderful opportunity to offer something to clients where they don't have to worry about ever finding an alcohol, any kind of alcohol level on the products that we carry. And that makes us feel really good.
Yeah, is that because of the fermenting process?
Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We have two types of non-alcoholic wines. There are some that have never gone the fermentation process. They actually heat it up to about 104 degrees, kill the yeast, and it stops the fermenting process. Okay. But then we have other wines that have gone through the entire process of fermenting. However, that patented technology that I mentioned a minute ago, they actually extract all of the alcohol from the wine. And really that's cutting edge, because a lot of the processing centers here in America, unfortunately, can only take out a certain amount of alcohol, but there's still a residual. So we're not mad at it. We just prefer to carry those that are 100% non-alcoholic.
Absolutely.
So tell me, what types of wines are we talking about? Ports, or what are we talking about?
So glad you asked.
Yes.
Okay.
We actually wanted to show you what we have.
So this is what you would consider an alternative to port. It's actually called a vermouth.
Vermouth. Okay.
Yeah, 100% alcohol free. Still has a nice strong kick to it. It's what's called an aromatized wine. And
great for mocktails.
Absolutely. This is one of our white wines. It's called a Blanco. It's a white wine.
Still white wine.
Yeah, still white wine. And we also have, this is our Chardonnay.
Very popular.
Very popular. It has a beautiful peach smell to it.
It is sparkling, and it's a champagne alternative.
Yeah. This is another white wine. This is a Sauvignon. And this is actually one of the ones that has never gone through the fermentation process.
Okay.
As a result of not having gone through the fermentation process, this wine is actually considered halal certified.
Yeah.
There was a new as we were learning through this process, starting at the beginning of this year, there was a new requirement that wines that had ever gone through the fermentation process will no longer have the official halal certification. And so this is one of these wines. And this is also organic and vegan friendly. So this is one of our favorites. This is a red wine called a Tempranillo, which is a Spanish red wine. Delicious. It's dry. I love red wine. It's dry and it's sweet. A little bit sweeter than what you would have with a Merlot.
So almost like a red Zinfandel without the alcohol.
Correct. And it's very, very nice. That one has actually gone through the fermenting process. And so the body on it is wonderful. The flavoring is just impeccable. That's actually a surprising popular one. I'm sorry.
Y'all ship? Can I order that one?
Absolutely. We ship anywhere in the continental U.S. and soon, first time we're sharing this is with you, Sister Sajdah. Soon we will be able to ship internationally, but we will let you know when we get to that point.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's in the works.
Absolutely.
Okay. And put the website. I'm not interrupting you, Brother Anthony, because I want to hear about these. Put the website in the chat and make sure you all send it to me, because I try to support everybody who comes on the show. And so I want to make sure that I place an order.
And we want to thank you, Sister Sajdah, for having us on your wonderful show. We've watched many episodes, and we really appreciate what you're doing. I want to make sure we made it a point to tell you that, sis.
Yeah, I got something else to tell Sister Sajdah, but I'm gonna get through this presentation as well.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is our sparkling Moscato.
Yes, sweet white wine.
So it's sweet. If you like a sweet white wine that's sparkling, this is a hit. This is one of our more recent additions. And we also have, this is our rosé.
That's our still rosé. And we have a sparkling rosé.
And as we like to say when we out in the people, we like to say rosé.
So yes, I'm an events person. And I wish when I was in DC events every year, I'm a huge events person. So I cannot wait to taste the wines, have them at some of the events that I have, whether it's at my home or other places, but I'm just an event person. And what we should talk about, I have a friend here in Chicago who is opening up a wine bar.
Okay.
It's called the Bronzeville Wine Bar. And I would love to have a conversation so that we can talk to him to maybe carry a couple of your brands here in the new Black-owned winery in Chicago in the Black Belt.
Beautiful.
Come on now.
We'd love to. Thank you.
And I wanted to show you, this is what our sparkling tea looks like.
Yeah, tell me about this sparkling tea. I'm trying to understand that because that looks really good.
So the sparkling tea, if you can just imagine, sister, is Darjeeling tea, white tea, jasmine tea on a bed of white grapes. And it's sparkling, it's fresh, it's light. I mean, it's just absolutely refreshing. I love it. And many who have had a chance to sample it, they love it too during our impromptu wine tastings. I mean, it's a big, big hit. Look, sister, we even had a sister who tried to put the whole tasting cup in her mouth because she thought it was so good.
Oh, you might have all kind of crazy reactions. I remember when one of my uncles, I won't say which one, he stopped drinking. He stopped drinking, and he was drinking O'Doul's.
Okay,
and whenever he was drunk back in the day, he would stutter. And my mom's on here; she knows what I'm talking about. When back in the day, he'd be like, he would stutter, right? But when he was drinking the non-alcoholic wine, he started stuttering. I said, "You do know ain't no alcohol in there." He said, I said, "You're right."
Oh man, that's hilarious. Look, Sister Sajdah, I just wanted to say, if I may, before we move forward,
yes.
Man, I had no idea really who you were. And I'm not saying that to suggest that I know who you are now, but for those of you who don't know, you don't know, of course, but I met Sister Sajdah when I first entered the ranks of Islam back in 1997 at Muhammad Mosque 2B on the west side. She was Sister Wendy, real quiet. She was a close assistant to then Minister James, now Brother Aziz. And she just always was like straight face, like no emotion. I thought she might have been like an assassin or something like that. You know what I mean? The female assassin in the mob. But so years later, I moved to Atlanta. I was listening to Brother Cedric Muhammad on his Black Coffee program, and he was talking about this Wendy Muhammad. And I'm listening to the interview. I'm like, I recognize that voice. And I looked up, and it was you. I was like, man, I didn't know that this sister was doing all that right there. You know, when you start talking, you know, move your lips, you're like, man, I didn't know that sister was doing all that. And then going on later, I'm listening to Sister Tia on her audiobook about raising Black millionaire children. And once again, Sister Wendy, I'm like, is this the Sister Wendy I know from the West Side Mosque again? Sure enough, it was. And then we met a couple of years later at a private meeting in Houston. And I'm like, golly, this sister is bad. I'm just like, I never knew. So I'm so proud of you, Sister Golly, and all the way up to now with what you're doing with the Sajdah House. I am so proud just to say that I know you and that we have that common history together is just an honor. So when we got the invitation to join, like I was going to say I was excited, but I watched Kanye's documentary today, part 3. And he talked about, you know, he's stepping away from excited. I mean, to saying energized. So energized. I was energized to see that we got the invitation, and I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful to be doing this interview with you. So thank you so much, sister.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. You know, when I first got to Chicago from Indianapolis and I started working at the National Center, and Sister Safia, who was then the minister's assistant at the palace, because I worked closely with them, she trained us.
Beautiful.
And, you know, Safia was no joke. She was just the best example of kind of how to conduct yourself in those spiritual settings. And she would say, you see, but you don't see. You hear, but you don't hear. And so, you know, we would get assignments and we knew how to not overreact and be responsibly emotional about things. And then that way it just kind of kept things, you know, working. So you could put us in any situation. At that time, I think when you met me, I was teaching orientation on the West Side. And so we were literally going back and forth. We had sisters in both places. But the thing of it is that you just learn kind of how to maintain a certain even equilibrium.
That's right.
And it actually took me a while over the years as I would be in business. That actually became a trait that people liked about me as a business consultant, because they felt like, you know, when you hire somebody as a consultant, you want to make sure that they're not going to tell all your business.
Right.
Because it might be a bad situation that they're bringing us into. You know, sometimes people would have executives that were on drugs or had a breakdown, and they didn't want that to go public. And so you had to have a demeanor about you that made them feel like they could trust you. And I learned that from that training, from serving the minister, to be trustworthy and to always provide a safe space. And even if you're talking to somebody about somebody else, you only take information that is relative and not things that are proprietary to that person.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's just something that I've carried with me, you know, over the years. So I try to be a safe space for people, so that even if, you know, because everybody got to have somebody safe to talk to. Even if you come and you talk to me and you chat with me, and maybe you say some things that may not be all that kosher, depending on what it is, I know how to either coach you or make sure that I relay it in a way so that it doesn't negatively reflect you. Because at the end of the day, you know, we all got our issues and our struggles. So
that's right.
And so I am honored, and I am so proud of you, Brother Anthony. I really, really am. I knew you when you first came in. I know the before and the after. So I'm laughing as you're holding up all these wines, and I can hear your sophisticated language about it. And I see the beautiful queen that Allah has pulled into your life. And I see the oneness of your love, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And so I'm happy for the both of you, and especially for you, Brother Anthony.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Sister Sajdah. Thank you. So, you know, I wanted to share, you know, it's you the interviewer. So if I'm leading too much, then let me know.
It's a conversation. This ain't no
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So what I wanted to say, we started doing what we call these cake and sip events. So I want to shout out to Sister April Muhammad of Magic City Flavors in Birmingham, Alabama. This is actually a relationship that my wife reached out to Sister April, and they started communicating through social media and turned into a phone call. Next thing you know, we're partnered together doing these cake and sip events. And we went to Birmingham. The first event was last November.
Okay.
And we do a wine tasting and a presentation at these events. And Sister April comes on and she does the cake decoration portion of the class. One thing that has been a pleasant surprise to us is how the non-alcoholic wine that we offer, it's been such really a healing to so many people.
Yes.
They feel like they are held in some sort of a bondage by alcohol being all around them. They love to be social. They love to hang out with family and friends, but the pressure that comes from feeling like they have to consume wine is really a burden. And we had no idea, because we haven't consumed alcohol for years. And so to listen to people who are well in their 30s, 40s, and 50s talk about the peer pressure that they feel when they have to go out in certain events, and literally, Allah is our witness, people were coming with us in tears, thanking us, like, I didn't know that this existed. So now I can go out to a family event for the holiday with my family, and I don't have to feel pressure. Now, in fact, I can actually bring something to the gathering for myself and to introduce it to my friends.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yes.
Because when I get invited places, I always bring a gift. It's just part of my own personal culture. I give gifts away. And so I think this is an amazing gift. And you hit something there. because I remember being in college, and to this day, I can't stand the smell of beer because I lived on the co-ed dorm, and after the games, they would have had so many kegs, and the floor would smell like beer.
Wow.
And, but there was always like a pressure to drink beer. So what happened was, I literally was just kind of having this conversation with somebody today. I wasn't very social in college. It wasn't that I didn't drink back then, but I didn't like to drink like that.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Because the drinking is so heavy that you feel like in order to participate, I got to go just as hard as the next people. And most Black people know you don't try to drink with white folks.
Mm-hmm.
You have white friends,
Don't do
you don't drink like they drink.
Mm-hmm.
They go hard, they
Man.
mix their drinks, and you just can't keep up. So it would feel like I can't really socialize
Yes.
because I might only just drink this much where y'all are drinking that much.
Right.
And that was just at the, at the college level. So I think that that's an interesting liberation, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
Because alcohol is such a huge thing from a social standpoint. I saw somebody put in the chat, I think it was Sister Lisa or Sister Allison, that this would go great in a nice lounge where there's music and stuff,
Absolutely.
where you're socializing, but you're not getting completely inebriated.
Right.
And especially if you're around people who drink all the time, you can't hang.
Yes.
And you know we agree with you 1,000%, sister. And one of the things that we also learned from the Cake and Sip is that we actually had guests that came that are heavy drinkers that walked away with quite a few bottles that they could take home as an alternative. And we say to people, because it's no judgment, right? I definitely say to those who do drink that look at it almost like a meatless Monday, right? For vegetarians, every now and again, take a break, and allow that break to maybe get longer and a little
like
longer.
Maybe give liver and kidneys and stuff a break.
Yeah, just give it a break, And the reason why I say that is because water seeks its own level, and everybody has to go their different way, right? So what we're providing is a resource in a way, right? So if you're not able to go cold turkey and just drink non-alcoholic wines all the time, here is something that you can use to help get your body accustomed to moving away from alcohol. So just like a vegetarian would tell someone who's a meat eater, have a meatless Monday, and then sometimes it turns into a meatless Wednesday, and you move from there. Use it as a gradual move away from what you're doing now. Your body will thank you for it. It will lower your chances of diabetes, or it will help improve your condition. Many of our wines do have medicinal properties, which my husband gets into during our presentations. And it's mainly because a lot of the benefits that you would find in a wine, they just don't have the alcohol. And so even using it as, in terms of aiding in digestion, whether it be the red wines, etc., use it as a gradual way of moving away from alcohol at your rate, at your pace. And like I said, we're not here to judge anybody. We personally have chosen for our lives not to drink, not to consume alcohol. However, everybody is at a different stage in their development. And so we're just here to provide that resource to help them no matter what stage and level that they're on.
I love this. Brother Anthony, give me a couple of the medicinal qualities of these types of wines.
So brother, I think Solomon, he put in the chat polyphenols, which is a chemical, it's an antioxidant. So it helps to mitigate against the free radicals that exist in this environment. We all know that we are in a toxic environment from the foods that we eat, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink. And so this can kind of help serve as a way to push back against some of the side effects of that. As my wife mentioned, the non-alcoholic wine, it helps to lower your diabetes rate. Regular alcohol has approximately 3 times more sugar and more calorie in it than non-alcohol wine.
Mm-hmm.
So you automatically get a reduction in the sugar you consume drinking our beverage because of the fact that it does not have alcohol
Mm-hmm.
in it. One thing I like to joke about is some research has even said that this is actually good for your skin. So I like to joke in my presentation and say, if you want to pour something in your hand and splash it on your face, look, no judgment here. You know, do what you feel. Once you buy your bottle, you can put it on. You can take a bath in it if you want to. Look,
Mm-hmm.
that's up to you. And also, and as my wife did as well, the healing that it takes on your blood pressure,
Mm-hmm.
the healing that it helps to facilitate, I would say, on your liver and on your kidney and all these other
Mm-hmm.
functions of your internal organs. There's
Mm-hmm.
also been research that suggests that consuming non-alcoholic wine helps you sleep better.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so many different benefits to it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, again, we are trying to offer something that will aid in the process. We are trying to, you know, we are in the healing business. Those of us who are followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the guidance of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, we are in the healing business across the board. And so in addition to the word, in addition to the way of life of our diet, you know, we're just striving to add a little component that will make living the life of a Muslim a little more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
My wife likes to talk about having an elevated experience. Look, we're not knocking you if you want to continue to have your Martinellis, you want to have your sparkling Welch's. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But some people feel like, you know, I want to have my little red wine glass. I want to have my flute glass. I want to have a little something in. And you may have, coming out of the world like we all did, you may still have an affinity for the taste of alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
or what people think is the taste of alcohol. You like the taste of the wine. And so when we out in the community, people will often associate the taste of alcohol with the taste of the wine. And so we have to get them to see, you're not liking the taste of alcohol, you're liking the taste of the wine. And with these non-alcoholic wines, you get that taste that you have become accustomed to, but you just leave the alcohol to the side.
That's right.
We've had, in our most recent pop-up, we've had people who've come to our table, because we like to challenge. You know, Black people, we like to feel like we up to a challenge, so we throw it out in the gauntlet. We want you to take this, are you sure there's alcohol in their challenge? And so once we lay the challenge out, we're like, yeah, I'm gonna come on, I'm a challenge. So we bring out the Chardonnay. People say, well, I don't even like Chardonnay. We'll try this one. And they be like, man, I really like this. Our Merlot. We had two people at one of our recent pop-ups. It was like, man, I don't like Merlot, but this Merlot tastes good. And it tastes better than the Merlot that I've had that has alcohol in it. And so it's like expanding our capacity for what we think we can experience. And people really walk away grateful. We had a lady who showed an interest and wanted to offer these at a church function.
Yes.
One of the other things about having non-alcoholic wine is that when you have women who are expecting and you have these, what do they call those? Baby showers. Now, not only is the pregnant woman able to have a drink and be festive with her friends and family members, but the other women there as well. People who are on medication. You don't have to worry about having these negative side effects that come with having medication and having alcohol. So
wedding receptions.
So you're colonizing our tongues is what you're doing. You're decolonizing it. See, because the palate of a colonized person is different from the palate of a non-colonized person. And so you have to decolonize your palate in order to eat and live in a healthy way. So it gives you the variety. You know, this is a long life.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And for many of us, we've been not eating pork and doing these things for a very long time. So your palate has to expand in order to give you the variety that you crave when you know you're a convert. So what you're doing is you're decolonizing our tongues by saying the taste of these grapes and the way this is put together that is healthy for you, let's disconnect that from your affinity with alcohol.
Yes.
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 So you're decolonizing our tongues. You're saying, okay, you can drink this, but it's not going to give you that same effect as the wine or whatever. Most people, unless you just a wino or you drink a lot, they can't drink that much wine anyway.
Right.
Before they fall asleep or get sick or get so drunk. So in a case like this, having a non-alcoholic wine that just allows you to kind of just feel that level of sophistication, but really decolonize your tongue.
Yes.
That's
beautiful.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, when we were talking earlier about these settings that we go in where we feel pressure to drink, I'll share with you, I used to work at a pharmaceutical company, and my wife is smiling because she knows where I'm going with this. And so they wanted to have everybody, I was relatively new to the company, and they were like, well, we're going to this winery. I mean, not even a winery, a brewery.
A brewery. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to leave work at 12 o'clock, and we're going to go to this brewery. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm like, I don't drink beer. I don't even want to be in a brewery.
In the middle of the day.
Yeah. So while they left at noon to go to the brewery, I stayed and worked. And then when I finished my hours, I went home. Well, my wife was like, no, you need to go. You need to go. I'm like, I don't want to be there. So the next day, I get pulled into the principal's office. You know what I mean?
Hey, you're going to get in trouble.
And so there, again, there's that pressure in this world. They want you to conform to their culture. And what my wife is sharing with me is a way that they can kind of vet you to see if you are one of them in spirit, not just in body.
Team player.
And that thing just like, it went all over my head. So if I had to go back in that same scenario, I would at least feel good that I can bring my own. And if I wanted to drink and all of that, as opposed to just saying, you know, I could have, in retrospect, I could have gone and said, well, I just have some water or,
well, see,
you know.
now you're teaching, because a lot of times when we're in corporate environments, and I know I had to learn this, because even if you drink as a Black person, you shouldn't be drinking in those settings. Because you want to stay sharp and keen in your mindset. But understanding, again, once you decolonize your mind and your tongue, that you can go there and order a non-alcoholic beverage. You can leave at a certain time before they get so inebriated and start saying things that's going to offend you. You can play the game so that you can get out of that situation, whatever you went into it to get out of.
Yes, ma'am.
And another thing to that point, you can share with your employer a resource like Magnolia Crescent Orchards that they can order non-alcoholic beverages for those types of events that they're trying to host. Because at the end of the day, it's a team building exercise, whether we recognize it as it being that or not. That's what they're doing. Because I too came out of corporate America, so I completely get it. I may not drink. However, I understand what they're attempting to do. And so a part of that decolonization that you were talking about earlier is introducing to them the things that work for you and allow them to adopt that as their own, you know,
and they will,
because they'll do it.
That's what I was going to say. They will, because especially nowadays, you are marketing to corporations and major corporations and caterers that they use, because right now everything is about Black culture, whether they say it or not, but everything is.
That's
I can see your wines being marketed at the games.
Yes.
You know, I used to have season tickets to the Wizards game, and you know, when you are a certain type of season ticket holder, you go back to the VIP suites before the game, and you can eat all you want and you can drink all you want. Well, if this non-alcoholic wine is back there with samplings and things like that, you all probably would do really, really well, because you see a number of people back there who are like, oh, hey, I'm just going to get a water. And I think they used to have like a Welch's thing or something like that. I just remember it being so sweet. But again, the point is, we're talking about those of us who think one way, but I'm talking about to that person who says, yeah, I drink, there are certain environments where you don't want to be drinking.
That's right.
And see, that's part of bridging yourself over to a decolonized way of thinking. Because you can't just adopt all the behaviors of Yaqub's mind, because then you're going to be subjected to Yaqub's effects.
That's right.
So what you want to do is find a way where you can move among the vultures if you need to, because you're probably going to need to.
Absolutely.
But still maintain who you are. You move in as a God.
That's right.
Not as somebody who feels like I got to go in and bust them upside the head and let them know, no, I don't want to go with y'all because Farrakhan said da-da-da-da-da. Whoa.
That's right.
Whoa. You need to get up in there and get this information so you can get up out of there with the information and go do for self.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You got to figure out how to do it. And you don't want something, you are really helping because you don't want something as simple as alcohol to stop you from going in there and getting what you need to get.
Right. That's right.
And you know, Sister Sajdah, January, when we were doing the research, as we've been learning about this industry, my wife found something called Dry January, which was a movement that was started in the UK and it has since gone global. And in January, because it's a commitment for people who participate, it's a commitment for those 31 days to remove alcohol from their drinking palate, if you will. But one thing we were noticing is that there was not us. We didn't see us in any of this marketing about Dry January, any representation of that. We didn't see us represented. And so it opened us up to see that not only are we striving to present these non-alcoholic beverages to those of us who are like-minded, but also to a whole generation of Black people who are just not accustomed to seeing us being presented in these spaces. And so there was a real vacuum, there was a real void that we realized that was there, because everything, because first we were thinking like, man, should we just do like a Black Dry January? But we started to think a little bit more expansive than that. It's not necessarily trying to do a Black version on what it is that they're doing, but there's an opportunity for us to create our own movement around non-alcohol, getting away from alcohol consumption. And so,
well, that's doing for self, brother.
Yes.
Because see, what happens is a lot of the conscious people in the broader community don't think that we want to be anything other than niggers and super niggers. Okay, so they don't see us as part of their conscious movement, whether it's a spirituality movement, whether it's a organic food movement, whether it's farming. They don't see us as a part of that because the propaganda is that they're niggers and they want to be super niggers. And so the whole propaganda out here in this mindset that we live in is towards the development of the super nigger. Not nigger, super nigger.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
So the super nigger with money, so that the more niggerish you get, the more money they can reward you with. So then all the other niggers will want to become a super nigger like you. So we're left out of those high-end mental strategy organizations. It's why I do what I do with the show, why I have the Mind of an Entrepreneur movement and manifestation Thursdays and things like that, is because we're left out of those movements.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the assumption is they just want to be niggers.
Yes, ma'am. And I think also what we are doing, and you, I'm sure, can bear witness to this, sometimes as followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there is a little bit of trepidation about us entering into these predominantly white spaces. We were fortunate to attend a function. It was kind of a preliminary meeting. This organization here in Georgia is putting on what they call a fake wedding. It's an opportunity for women and wedding planners to come around and to they have different vendors who are affiliated with putting on
with
weddings.
different services.
Yes. And so, you know, my wife being who she is, I think, and she has similar life experiences to what I've heard you share. Growing up in predominantly white areas, she lived in Barrington, Illinois for a while, and so she has more of a comfort level, just stepping out, picking up, get Instagramming, DM, picking up, calling these people, and just unafraid to insert us into these environments. And so we go, and we're learning, like, there is a big push for people who want non-alcohol alternatives at their weddings. And it just taught me, like, when we get over our fear of what we will be perceived as, when we have something that's quality of service to offer, it's not just good for our people, it's really good for all people.
That's right.
And we have to be willing to present and insert ourselves in these environments, you know, when the opportunity presents itself, and we will be well received, and we have been well received.
Yeah, let me give you an example of that before we go, because I want to give you, I want to further develop that point and help you with that, because, and I know, sis, you already know this. Once we understand that we are the prize, then we won't be so apprehensive about going into certain environments. It's not where you go, but how you go.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's how you go into those environments, how you represent when you're talking to certain people. See, because if I give up my power and make another group, this is the same in male-female relationships. The man has to understand the woman's the power. But if I give up my power and take on that role that they have power, and I need to say a curse word here, and I don't want to start cussing because the minister says sometimes we got to cuss, but I'm just going to use this cut. It makes us like bitch ass niggas.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you understand? Because it weakens you. And so you don't take charge and ownership and take care of your business. You in there scared. Same thing with just in a relationship. If the man thinks he's the prize, then he's going to be a bitch ass nigga in the relationship because he thinks he's the prize. When she's the queen, she's the prize.
That's right.
So he's not going to step up into his rightful place as a man because he's too busy being a bitch. And so that's the same thing that we do.
Sister.
I'm just, you know, it's the same thing that we do when we act like bitches when it comes to our teachings. Just go and be you. You got to figure out how to navigate and make these teachings part of your life. You don't have to wear a sign on your forehead.
It's already, the mark is already there.
The market's already there.
That's right.
The market's already there. So look, this has been wonderful. I'm so excited for you all. I want to order the red wine and the sparkling tea. So let's put the website up here. Please, everybody on here, everybody who listens, please, please, please place an order for this wine or the sparkling teas. Let's sell them out. I don't know how much wine they got in the garage or in the barrels in the house in the basement, and I don't know, but let's sell them out.
We got enough. We got enough for everybody.
For everybody.
For everybody. And look, and also we are offering now a package deal. It's like our sparkling tea package where you can get one sparkling tea and 5 wines for $150. So however you want to mix and match it, get one tea. And we have 2 sparkling teas. The one we showed you with the jasmine tea, but we also have an hibiscus tea as well, which was very popular when we did our Black Love Cake and Sip event here in Atlanta last month.
Yeah.
So yeah, come on in. We ready to get them shipped out. Hey, we here to serve, family.
And we're going to New Orleans next weekend.
Oh yeah, shout out to brother student Mr. Willie. We saw him.
Hey, brother Willie, assalamu alaikum.
We saw our sister April. We are going to New Orleans to do our NOLA style cake and sip event on Saturday, March the 19th, between 3 to 6 p.m. local time. And so, and we're having a ball.
It's going to be in New Orleans for people who want to go.
It's going to be
Downton Road.
Yeah, Downton Road. We have the flyer for those of you all who are connected. If you follow us on Instagram,
Okay.
we have the flyer up on there. So please get all the information because we want to definitely pack the house. We have a wonderful time. We make it very engaging, very lively, very fun, but yet very dignified, very refined.
In Chicago.
When are we?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we just wait on the invitation. You know, anytime I
got my phone right here. I'm getting ready to order as soon as we get off of here.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I'm going to DM you so we can plan something here in Chicago.
Oh, that would be amazing, sister.
We got to do it.
Yes.
We got to do it.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
I can't wait to meet you. I'm so proud of you all. Y'all just warmed my heart. This was fun. And you know what I think we can also do? If we do the cake and sip here in Chicago, why don't we tape it and make it a show?
Oh, wow.
Come on now. You speaking our language like.
Come on now. That we then can both broadcast and it'll just be fun. We pack the house and we'll do a cake and sip here in Chicago and we'll make it a show. We'll get some photographers and videographers and then we'll edit it and make us a show.
I love it. And sister, even if you would like to make it a fundraiser for Sajdah House, we are open to that as well. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to DM you so we can set up a Zoom and put that together. I'm proud of you all. I thank you all for coming on the show today.
Thank you. The honor is ours.
Yes. Brother Anthony.
Yes, man.
West Side, listen, I'm so proud of you.
Oh my God, I love it.
I'm so proud of you. Okay, listen, stay tuned and I'll be right in touch with you all. Just give me time. We're gonna close out. Thank you all for watching today.
Thank you.
This has been a fabulous show. If you want to check this rebroadcast out, it'll be right here on my IG page. It'll also be on the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube page. Make sure you go there, like and subscribe the page. You can also binge on past episodes. Peace and blessings, family. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you.